he still gets me shit for Nurses Week. Like
he gets you stuff?
Yes.
Like what? Better than what our managers get us?
Well, yeah, I always come home to flowers and like my favorite like bottle of whatever I like or favorite candy, just something like that.
That's really sweet.
But I feel like firefighters don't do that. Are you getting Ryan anything for like, is there a firefighter? Well, there's EMS week.
I do not get him anything for EMS week, and he does not give me anything for Nurses Week.
But I feel like that's a mutual understanding right there.
Is that?
If Nick didn't get me anything for Nurses Week, I'd be fucking pissed.
Grab a coffee.
Take a breath.
You've just clocked into the ER Edit.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Karlie.
You are now clocked in.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to episode 1.
We freaking did it. You guys, this has been in the process
for months.
For months.
Months and months and months.
I cannot believe we're actually sitting here because it literally started as a thought that just went to like pen and paper at my dining room table. And then we decided, fuck it, let's actually do it. And here we are. We're in our makeshift little studio right now and we love it. We couldn't be happier to be sitting here with you guys.
You guys probably already know us from seeing us on our TikTok together, but I'm Karlie.
I'm Caitlin. We are ER nurses that have worked together in the same emergency room for years and years.
I think 7 years.
Yeah,
we worked
it's
together.
Been a long time. That decided to do social media kind of on a whim and then decided to make videos together. And then you guys decided to tell us that we should make a podcast. And now here we are.
She's come to life.
She is here and we are freaking ready.
We are so excited.
So basically what we're trying to do with this podcast is break through all of the medical TV like bullshit essentially that you guys see, because a lot of it is not real based on what we see from day to day.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get through all of the stereotypes with that. And we're just going to bring you back to kind of what the healthcare industry is really like, but also the fact that Karlie and I are both moms. We're both literally trying to survive daily life. We both literally text each other often that we're going to have mental breakdowns. So we are literally just like everybody else in the world.
We're just like everybody else. But what we've learned since starting social media, wouldn't you say? Like since starting our social media platforms, one thing that I have been so blown away by is what is everyone's fascination with nurses? Obsessed. Or hate.
Yes. It can go both ways. Like it is so variable. People either love nurses and are dressing up as them for Halloween or doing little bits on them on social media or calling us angels.
How many times, well, I guess you never really did like the online dating, but I did like the whole online Bumble Hinge thing.
We had a moment there with
How many times would I see like love nurses or like they hate nurses? Like, don't talk to me if you're a nurse. And like, I get it. Nurses have like a bad rep, but it's like a really wild fascination. And so we want to dive into what is the fascination with nurses.
We have to know. There's so many different avenues that this can go to. I think that people started with the fascination of the Halloween costume.
Yeah, like the slutty nurse.
I mean, like
we've all been her.
What is the percentage of people that dress up as a slutty nurse for Halloween every year?
And like, where did that come from? Because Florence Nightingale, not slutty.
Not slutty at all. Also, if you see what we're wearing, we are wearing literally glorified pajamas to work every day.
And the things that we do and see, like I would not want my skin showing.
Never.
In 99% of the procedures I'm a part of.
No. I mean, I would venture to say 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But then there's also the people, I mean, you're right. People hate nurses too.
Yeah.
I will never forget, you guys, this was like peak COVID. But I went to the 7-Eleven down the street from our hospital.
While you were working?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
I needed a bag of nerd clusters. Absolutely. It was our peak nerd cluster prime. Do you remember that?
Totally.
When we were buying bags every day? Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure I was getting them for you and I went in there and this guy straight up looked at me, pointed his finger in my face and was like, you need to get out of here. And I was so perplexed because during that time in COVID, you were either like a healthcare hero or people were scared you were around. This guy was appalled.
Was he trying to protect you?
No, he was appalled that I had come into the store in scrubs.
Oh, because you were spreading the germs.
Correct.
The illness,
this man was the epitome of hating a nurse.
Yeah. I also think there's like a group of people where they think nurses go into nursing because like you're an empath, like you're a servant. And here's the deal. Like, I think a lot of nurses, I saw a video yesterday actually that said a lot of nurses are not nice, but they're kind. And and the whole point of the video, you might have seen this circulating, is him saying like, if you go to the hospital and you just watch, like, especially in the ER, you're not always going to get like the kindest personality, like
there's not warm and fuzzy,
empathetic. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Like, you might get some of that, but he said, what you do notice is those nurses know what they're doing. They are going to go above and beyond, and they're going to do what needs to get done to take care of you. And he's like, think if it was the other way around, if they didn't know what they were doing, but they gave you all that customer service fluff of, I care. Oh, I've been there. Oh, like, and I think it's like this weird reality that we live in, that people think like nursing is a calling and you don't have human emotion. You can shut everything off. You can be the most empathetic, understanding. And that's just not true. So I think it rubs some people really, really wrong.
Yes.
Because nursing is not always a warm and fuzzy profession.
I mean, most of the time it is not.
Especially in the emergency room.
I think that ER nurses specifically are not empaths. Are you? I don't know. I am not a warm and fuzzy person. Like, I can be, but I wouldn't say, like, okay, if you took a pediatric nurse, like what you would expect from a pediatric nurse. Pediatric L&D.
That's not me.
No.
That's not me.
That's not me either. But I think that that's what also makes nurses really superior in some of their departments. Like, you have to have certain qualities to work in certain departments.
Absolutely.
So I think as ER nurses, what people see on TV, what those stereotypes are, aside from the pit, which we have been diving into, they have gotten them all wrong. All of the stereotypes. Well, first of all, they don't even show the nurse most of the time in these shows.
Yeah, it's like the doctor is doing bedside care. Don't get me started.
I mean, we could make a whole episode regarding the stereotypes that happen in medical TV shows.
Maybe we should.
All wrong.
Yes.
They're all wrong.
Although the pit is getting it right. The pit is doing a fantastic job.
Minus RT.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, we got to do better with that. But ER nurses are not empaths by nature. But I will tell you one thing right now. When you go to an emergency room and you see nurses working there collaboratively, like, I will say that is one thing that ER nurses can do damn well, is like the way that we can run a code without having to talk to anybody, listen to anybody, say anything to anybody. It just runs.
Yep.
And there's really not a lot of emotion behind it at the time.
No, and there shouldn't be.
No,
there shouldn't be, because when you are in those situations where it's life or death on the line,
you cannot,
and you are fueled by emotion, you are not thinking clearly and you are not making the best decisions. So I would argue that in those moments, you don't want to be like running on high emotion.
Absolutely not. You can't be. And I completely agree with you, because there are the codes that you and I have both been a part of that are ran by emotion. And those codes, I will tell you, do not go well.
No. And you can feel it.
You can. Okay. So I actually looked up some stats that I want to read to you, because I really can't believe the obsession regarding nurses. So, okay. So these are some of the stats that I found.
Let me hear them.
Okay. TikTok and Instagram nurse content has multi-billion of, like, billions of views. It's one of the highest searched, like, actually niches on these two platforms.
Really? I mean, that's shocking, but also not, because think about some of the major content creators, like some of them were nurses to begin with.
Like it says that it trumps the food content industry.
Wow. That surprises me, because there are some foodies on TikTok.
I honestly feel a little flattered, but are you guys researching that because you want, like, is it good or bad? You know? Okay. So next, there's over 5 million nurses in the US. It's one of the largest professions.
Interesting. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yep. Going along with our nursing outfits and the slutty nurse for Halloween, it is estimated, this like blew me away. It is estimated that 34% of females dress as a nurse for Halloween every year. 34%, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people wanting to be a nurse. for one night.
34. That's a third.
Yes. That's what it says.
And the thing that's crazy is like, it's every year. Like that stays every year.
I mean, it is a constant front runner. It is a constant front runner every single year.
Crazy.
Okay. Last, I need to cough.
She's still recovering from pneumonia, guys. So bear with us.
I feel like I'm 100 years old. Okay. Last but not least, and this one I want to talk about and dive into more because I think there are very two different sides to this.
Okay.
It says, nursing is the number one most trusted profession and is ranked number one in honesty and ethics, which it should be based on what we are doing.
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay. But then you have the people, I actually have a ton of these on my comment section for when I made a video of like when your husband gets sick. So many people are in my comments saying this is exactly why nurses always cheat. So many people.
Wait.
Yeah.
Nurses always cheat because why?
Well, so in my comment section with the video that I made regarding Nick being sick and how I'm like, you do you, I'm not taking care of you. All the men seem to be very upset at the fact that I said that and won't take care of my husband and are now saying that nursing is the number one profession for cheaters. So you cannot have both. You can't call us the most trusted profession.
Well, I think that's more about here's the deal. Again, this goes back to what we just talked about. I think people have this destined idea of what a nurse should be.
I think that's why it becomes kind of shitty when you are a nurse in the industry is because people do have this, they put you in a bubble and you're not allowed to be anything other than that.
Right. I agree with that. And I think that especially, so it's interesting, the statistics are wild. But especially on TikTok platform, like the amount of, or whatever social media platform, the content creators that are nurses, that blows me away because I imagine what's getting them a lot of attention is not only both good, but like bad things as well. So people hating on nurses, thinking, oh, you should be this way or you're that way. Or people saying, this is why I don't trust nurses. I'll never go seek care. But it's like still a fascination that they still like draw all this attention to.
Do you think
crazy?
Do you think it's the fascination that it's because the hospital walls are closed and they cannot see what's going on behind there? That's where that's where the fascination stems from.
I think that's part of it. Kind of like the whole,
it's like we can't see what's going on in the pods in Love is Blind unless we watch it. So I have to watch it because I need to know what's going on in those damn rooms.
That's true. It's like you kind of like something that you'll never know.
Yeah.
But I also think that people share a lot of their life online. Like I see a ton of videos where patients will share their experience. And I always run to the comments because it's going to go one of two ways. There's either going to be people hating on healthcare professionals
every time,
hating on nurses and doctors, demanding that they, get in trouble or whatever. Or there's going to go down the algorithm of the nurses.
Yeah.
And I love to read the comments because you can always tell like if nurses are the ones commenting.
Well, and I love it when they start talking back to each other. I'm like, let me get a bowl of popcorn real quick.
Here's the deal. It doesn't need to what am I trying to say? Nurses and patients don't have conflict, but I think that in the online world, they like to create conflict. And I don't know. I'm not sure why that is.
I think it goes back to thinking that nurses need to be a set type of person and you cannot, once you tell somebody you're a nurse, I feel like sometimes in their mind, there is no other personality trait you can have other than what they perceive a nurse to be.
It becomes who you are. Yeah. Which is crazy because I don't know about you or anyone who's in nursing school right now, even in your small nursing cohort class that you're in, there are so many different personalities in that class.
Gosh.
And for example, everybody who graduates goes to a very different route of nursing.
Yes.
So that just goes to show there's so many different type men, women. There's a ton of men nurses, especially in emergency room.
Oh my gosh.
That's probably ER and ICU probably are the two heavier weighted male nurses areas.
Yeah. And at times I think, especially in our ER, it's 50-50.
Well, and what I don't understand is men do not get the flack that women get.
No, they
If
don't.
a man shows up in a situation and talks back or speaks up or has a hard boundary with the patient or says like, I'm not going to be treated that way, or posts a video online,
Yep.
they do not get the same response as women do. One thing I think that's actually completely shaped nursing today, or how people perceive nurses today, is the media.
Oh, yes.
TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
But TV shows, like think about what was like the first medical TV show that you can remember watching?
I mean, the first one that I always watched was Grey's Anatomy. And the nurse that was in there was the one that was hooking up with George. And that was literally all you knew her from.
Oh, yeah.
Like she was just kind of like sight unseen.
Yeah.
Not around at all. When there was codes going on, where was she?
Well, the nurses were never there
No.
on Grey's Anatomy.
So that was like the very first one that I remember being like, oh, that's a nurse, but she's also a hoe. Like she slept with George and everybody else.
But speaking of, most medical shows like House, ER, I think ER is old. I never watched ER.
Either.
But some of those shows, like there's always drama. Like I'm a huge Grey's Anatomy fan. I don't still watch it, but I watched so many seasons. And if you think back, like they do have like these medical anomalies. Like that's what they're known for, is these like crazy medical stories. But they're also known for the storylines of all the drama, sleeping together, husbands, ex-husbands, like all these relationship. And I think it drove this like curiosity of like, is that what really happens in the hospitals? Like, because people spend a lot of their life in the hospital working away from their families. So you do have affairs that happen. You do have crazy stories, and people like want to hear that. And I think that it started to spark this interest. Like, is that what really goes on?
Well, and I think that people would be shocked to know the things that really do happen within the hospital walls. Is it as crazy as a Grey's Anatomy episode every time? No. But does some shit go down in the hospital?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. I also do think that going along with that, because of these shows, people think, especially with ER nurses, especially the fact that we work in trauma, they think that it is literally trauma, like code all day long. And it's not that either.
No.
So I think that people have kind of mistaken the amount of sleeping around that happens within the walls and the amount of like high acuity patients that happen. Like, you remember Grey's Anatomy? It was like literally every 2 seconds an ambi was pulling up with some like high acuity patient.
Yeah.
That is not realistic.
Even The Pit, I will say, as much as I love The Pit and how realistic they do it, it's unrealistic in the sense that you don't go to work for 12 hours and every hour on the hour, like you're getting something crazy and people are jumping from one room to the next. Like that's because they need to hold your attention. That's a TV show.
I will say though, I remember being in nursing school and thinking it was exactly what I saw on Grey's. Like I remember being in class and being like, I can't wait to get into the hospital to see what's happening in there, because I equated it to that.
Oh, 100%. And now that you say that, I guess I can like think back. I do remember feeling like the hospital was like this like mysterious place where you go in and there's surgeries going on, there's codes running, there's babies being born, there's people dying. Like there's so much happening all the time, all day, every day, around the clock. And that's just information and things that you're never exposed to. Like, unless you're in the medical world, you're never going to walk into, have access to witness and be a part of all of that. So I guess as we're talking it through, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where like
the obsession can be real. The
obsession comes in.
Yeah. So
for sure.
I think that that's where maybe we come in and sort all of these obsessions.
We want to bridge the gap between what the hospital life, what a nurse is, and our crazy stories. But we also want to strip it down and keep it very real. Like
at the end of the day, I think you and I are both very real people that are just like here to tell you the honest truth about what happens.
100%.
There are shitty ass days that happen in those hospital walls. There are really fun days. I mean, we have a lot of fun in the hospital. And I think we want to bring all those stories to life.
Yeah, the best that we can. We want to share all of that with everybody.
So speaking on all of this, what is the wildest thing that somebody has said to you once they found out you were a nurse?
Wildest?
Yeah. Like, you know how people are like, what do you do for work? And then you're like, oh, I'm a nurse. And then I swear there's sometimes some responses I get that I'm like, the fuck?
Okay, this isn't necessarily wild, but I would say the thing that like makes me feel the most weird is when people say, thank you for your service.
Oh, I know.
Because it's like,
I'm not military.
I'm not military,
Yeah.
which that feels very like, and also it's like, it's my job. Like
Did I do a
chose
service?
this. Like I go take care of people, but like taking care of people looks very different, you know? And when people say that, it's like, sometimes I'm like, you're welcome. I mean, I don't know what
I
to
literally
say.
just had that happen in an Uber 2 days ago. I was in Vegas with Nick and the guy said, what do you do for work? I'm a nurse. And he was like, oh, hardest job around. Thank you so much for your service.
And
I was
honestly,
like,
it's
I don't know what
sweet.
to say to you.
It's sweet because I'm like, you're acknowledging our job and that is so lovely, but it is
service to me is like, I have served in the military.
country.
My grandpa, like I think of like my grandpa was in the Korean War. Thank you so much for your service.
yeah, like
That
if you
is
have
like,
a veteran hat on
Yes.
or like whatever, I'm like, thank you for
but
your
I wear
service.
pajamas to work. I'm not sure that there's much of a service there. You know what I mean? Also, it's what I signed. Like I signed up to go to school to do that.
It just makes me feel weird. I don't know if it's like the wildest thing, but it's like what makes me feel weird.
The wildest thing to me is always when people will be like, this is another obsession I feel like that people have, but they will always say, what's the craziest thing someone has stuck up their butt?
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, that is a fascination.
Mhm,
That is a fascination. And honestly, it is
I mean, it's a
fascinating.
fascination for me.
I love
when we
to
get
know.
people that check in.
I love to know. It's weird. It's a weird thing that people do. I think what's actually, I think when people find out you're a nurse, and I know this has happened to you, people say, what's the worst thing you've ever seen?
It's my worst, it's my least favorite question.
Well, the reason it's my least favorite question is, let me tell you, I think that they aren't portraying it the way that they think they are.
They
I
want
think
to
they're
hear
curious.
the TV story.
They want to hear the nosy, what's been put up their butts.
Yep.
They want to hear like the wildest situation, maybe family drama. I think what people don't realize that are not healthcare professionals, and you can probably relate to this, is
100%.
when people say that, the things that come to mind
are literally the worst things you've ever seen.
you cannot say out loud.
No.
Because it's so horrific.
Imagine if we actually told people. I have actually thought about that at one point because I was getting, I'm not going to lie, like I was getting kind of annoyed that people were asking that so often. But
Yeah.
I also had to like step outside of that for a second and was like, they don't mean it the way that it's coming off at all.
Totally.
But also, if you and I were to pick even just one story
Yeah.
that would coincide with the way that we filter that comment out, I don't know that anyone would ever come back to our page because they're so horrific.
Well, and it's dark.
Mhm.
And it's dark. And I think like I have two that come to my mind that I'll never forget. And they're things that like have resurfaced since I've had children.
Oh,
They're
yes.
things that I've like had to deal with in
Yep.
therapy. Like there are things that you don't speak about because it's like so terrible.
Yeah.
And I know there's a curiosity portion of people who are like, what have you seen? And I get that. So we usually tell some funny story like, oh, that this cucumber got shoved up a butt or whatever.
And he slipped and fell.
But I think that is hard because I also think there's like a side of nurses that they are dark. There's a very dark side of nurses, and for a very good reason. And I think that is hard to also like share with the general public or people who are not in healthcare, because you're trying to be like, this is who we are. And, we are on social media.
Yeah.
We are opening ourselves up to this platform of sharing who we are. And so you're trying to showcase yourself, but also that's like a really protected area.
Well, and I feel like that is another reason of why our stereotype gets so mixed up online or even in person, is that there is this truly dark side to us that we don't let out. It stays inside.
It comes out in humor. And I also think that some people
exactly
don't like
what
that.
I was going to say. So when people take the things that we say, if you heard some of the things that are being said at the nurse's station, I do apologize because it is literally the only way that we make it through shifts.
It's
is by
true.
being absolutely like vulgar and
vile human beings. Nurses are vile human beings.
I mean, some of the shit we say, my husband and yours, they can take a vile joke. They can get on it with us for that scene. Like, hands down. Some of the shit I say to Nick, sometimes he's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you actually have a problem. And I'm like, I'm sorry. My friends at work would have taken that the
my
right way. My
husband works in, I think, enough exposure to healthcare where he doesn't, I feel like he's like, yeah, he gets it. I think though that there are people who are like, you shouldn't be a nurse because they hear pieces of this. And honestly, I understand somebody getting to that thought like, oh, you shouldn't do this. But I think that if you really step back and you really understood, which maybe you just can't, maybe if you're not in the healthcare world or you're a nurse, like you maybe will never fully get to that place. But I mean,
hope you don't.
I know. And I'm not condoning like,
but we do get in trouble at the nurse's station often. I mean, you guys, it's literally in our huddle. So we do like pre-shift huddle every day before work. We get in trouble all the time because
when you know the huddle's about you,
the A&Ms are like, you guys, I want to remind you that all of the patients can hear everything you're saying at the nurse's station. And then I think back to last Tuesday and I'm like, oh shit, that could have been me. I'm really sorry.
Here's my qualm because I just could never handle anything that comes up in huddle is like, is this being told to the physicians as well though?
Oh, you know, the physicians are right there with us. Some of them being more vile than we are.
Yeah. And sometimes
they're the leader of the troop.
And we've witnessed throw full on tantrums. Tantrums, stomping feet.
2 years old. The same age as Bodhi.
But they don't get screamed at. They don't get reprimanded.
No, they never will. But I think it is important to remember that the nurses that you see portrayed, whether they be on the internet or at the nurse's station or things like that, the reason why we say the things we do is because we're actually truly traumatized on the inside.
Yeah.
And we haven't come to terms with it probably yet.
Yeah, I think a lot of nurses need therapy. Mm-hmm. Well, like 100% of them.
But will they go? No. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to read a little bit on Reddit of men. What is your experience dating nurses?
Oh, hell yeah.
I was reading these. Holy shit. They're fucking hilarious. Okay. First of all, the first comment, like straight out the gate, is stay away.
Let me hear it.
Okay. Someone else says, best sex I've ever had. Absolutely fucking insane though. I mean, it's probably true.
Is this are these all men writing
These are men. Yeah. Someone. Okay, how vulgar can I get on here?
Let it rip.
Okay. Someone said, curious, without being TMI, how is the sex different? Is there something they actually do differently? And then the other person said, slutty. So I guess that goes back to the Halloween costumes.
Nurse.
So are you actually dating a nurse, my friend? Or did you date the slutty Halloween costume? But this one says, slutty, wild. They want to fuck like rabbits till you feel good because the job makes you feel like shit. Okay. Interesting. Somebody else said trauma on trauma on trauma. That's fair.
There, ding, 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 ding. There it is.
Fair. This person said I married a nurse and it's been awesome.
No.
Yes, it is.
Did my husband write that?
Ryan, is that you? This one said, I only dated a nursing student. She was weird and kind of crazy. Okay, you have to give nursing students grace.
Okay, what nursing student is dating? Like, I had 0 time in my life to date.
A, there is no time. B, they do not have 1 ounce of mental stability for 4 years.
No.
It's gone. Like, you got to give them a little grace. If you're dating them during their nursing student, that's on you. This says, I'm a male nurse and I steer clear of dating nurses.
Interesting. Why?
Most female nurses have nursing as their identity. Dated one for a few years, never again.
I also think, hear me out, that people who date nurses, if they don't work in healthcare at all, like in any capacity, it is so hard to understand because like there are a ton of careers out there where it's like all consuming. I get that. I think what's hard for people to understand is just what we talked about. Like if you're not privy to what happens in that world, it's really, really hard to also be like the caretaker of a nurse.
100%.
I dated for a while during my dating stint, mostly men who had ties to healthcare. I dated one that was a banker. And it was great at first. I was like, this is amazing. Like he dotes on me. He like thinks I'm amazing and I'm wonderful. And I do feel like when you date people who are like in the world, like they're like, oh, cool, you're a nurse. Like I'm a firefighter or I'm a doctor. Like, they don't like be like, wow, I'm so like impressed with what you do. And sometimes that feels nice when you come home.
Wait, was the banker always impressed?
He was very impressed. He was just like, wow, I can't believe like you work so hard and like what you do is so amazing. However, he was impressed until it wasn't convenient. Like I'd work 3 12s in a row.
Yeah, and the schedule's shitty.
He'd want my attention. Yep. He'd be like, "Well, okay, cool. You're off at 7:30. Like I'll pick you up. We'll go to dinner. We'll go." And I'm like,
"Sir, I'm not doing anything.
I need to disassociate for 12 to 24 hours.
I actually don't want to talk to you. For
I don't want to speak
days
to you,
and maybe the 4th.
Exactly. Like, and it was really hard. Where he'd be like, "Well, I'm making time for you." Like. It was just like really hard to understand each other. And then I was kind of after a while, like, this is not working.
Yeah.
Like I need somebody who actually just gets it a little bit more.
Well, it gives you grace. I think that that's what's lacking.
Yes.
Is healthcare workers require a lot of grace. We come home not our best. We see shit that we need to talk about, but won't talk about. Our trauma is unreal. And then on top of it, we're just fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
And nobody really understands that.
And I think you either have to be not in healthcare, but like willing to understand, like willing how to be a partner for somebody that's in healthcare. Or unfortunately, I think you have to understand and be in healthcare yourself, because I married a firefighter and if I come home and I'm like, I had the most horrible thing happen or whatever, he's so understanding. Yes. What do you need from me? Like, do you need to go have a minute? Like, do you need space? Like, he gets it because he's been there. What I don't get from somebody who works in healthcare is like this, like, wow, I'm so impressed. Like, you're so amazing what you do. It's like, yeah, I do that too.
Well, and we're the opposite. Nick is like in corporate America. He's a corporate guy. He's not in healthcare. But I will say the difference is Nick was with me while I went to nursing school. So I think he kind of did a little bit of nursing school too.
Yeah.
In order to understand it. Also, we've been to therapy because I'm like, bro, you need to understand where I'm coming from. But he's also the type still that I feel like he still gets me shit for Nurses Week. Like
he gets you stuff?
Yes.
Like what? Like, better than what our managers get us?
Well, yeah, I always come home to flowers and like my favorite like bottle of whatever I like, or favorite candy, just something like that.
That's really sweet.
But I feel like firefighters don't do that. Are you getting Ryan anything for like, is there a firefighter? Well, there's EMS week.
I do not get him anything for EMS week, and he does not give me anything for Nurses Week.
But I feel like that's a mutual understanding right there.
Is that?
If Nick didn't get me anything for Nurses Week, I'd be fucking pissed.
Well, I've said before, like, it's Nurses Week or it's ER Nurses Week.
He's like, cool. Okay. Okay, this one says, nurses in my experience are very cliquey with other nurses, get used to being on the outside of inside jokes. This is 100% accurate. It is. That's accurate.
Yeah, but who's being on the outside? Oh, the boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Okay, yeah, that's
you don't
fair.
understand what's happening inside of it. And we do have a lot of inside jokes.
Also, like, I'm sorry. You're spending all of these hours with these people in all these high intense situations.
Yeah.
You form relationships, I'm not saying romantic or inappropriate relationships, but you form relationships.
But these are your family members.
These are people who are going through some of the horror that you are, and that dark humor we talked about, like that's there. So I can understand where sometimes it does feel like an outsider, but I also would say then you need to be more understanding of like the lifestyle and the coping, honestly.
That's the only way we do cope.
Yeah.
This is so funny to me. I've never looked at it like this. This person too says crazy, but amazing in bed. Would never date them though.
Interesting.
I know.
Probably the trauma. They probably think that they like
they're crazy. Great sex though. Another one. Should I be flattered?
I mean, How old are these girls? Because I would not. That my husband, I don't know if current day I would get that. If I would get that like report, a review, I guess.
No, but we've been married for a long time.
I know. Maybe these are like young single nurses. Maybe me 10 years ago was like wild.
Karlie 10 years ago,
Oh.
she was a good time.
Well, she was crazy.
As fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that is it.
I'm like literally blown away. You date a nurse for the sex. They love sex. Very comfortable with bodily functions, so nothing is off limits. I mean, that's true. We probably don't have a lot of...
Not much grosses us out.
No, that's true. This says, I dated and married a nurse. We got divorced shortly after. She was one of the nicest and most caring people I've ever met.
Aww.
See, that's true.
Well, then
I think
give
that's
us the
true.
details what happened.
This says they have a reputation for sleeping with everyone in the hospital. Okay, this
that is a
so
myth.
wrong.
That's a myth.
This is
Who's
so
spreading
wrong.
that lie?
Okay, there are I don't even think on every unit because I cannot see a med surg nurse sleeping around. I'm sorry. I just like, I can't envision it. So it's gonna, I'm sure, but like they don't have access to the same people that ER nurses do. And I think
you're talking about firefighters and police.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's where the myth comes down because they do date.
People are not sleeping, like they're not actively having sex in the hospital.
They have relationships.
They meet and then things happen, I think, outside of work, right?
Yes, 100%. But I think what they think is sleeping around is nurses will have relationships, like legitimate, I'm your girlfriend, you're my boyfriend relationship with people from EMS. But it is a small fishbowl that we run in.
Yeah, that's
so
probably
when they
why.
break up, chances are this nurse might date another medic.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this whole like,
they're
she's
sleeping
a hoe.
around. No, she's not. She's just dating who she has access to. Just like if you worked in corporate America, you might date somebody that you meet somewhere. Or if you go to the bars every weekend, like you might date multiple people
becomes your fishbowl.
from the bar or whatever. Like
that's where I think the
getting really triggered.
That's where the misconception is. They're not truly sleeping around. Do we have nurses that sleep around at our hospital? 110%. Do we judge them for that? No, girl, go do your thing.
Yeah.
But are nurses dating?
Or guy. This is my point. There are guy nurses that also sleep around.
We got some bigger guy hoes in our ER than we do girls. But I think that misconception needs to be left alone. Do you feel like now that you've had kids, the way that you nurse and the way that you do things in the hospital has changed? Or do you feel like it stayed the same?
I think it's changed.
Yeah. How?
So I think it's changed twofold. So I think that after becoming a mom and having kids, like I look at a lot of patients or patients' parents or other parents like in a very different light because I just had didn't have the ability to do that before I had kids.
Right.
Right. Like I didn't have that perspective. So I think in some ways it makes me care differently.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. And I don't know if that's better or worse.
Yeah.
I think there's certain situations that I can no longer be a part of.
PEDS codes.
PEDS codes specifically.
You don't think that you could do them anymore?
I have not been in a PEDS code since I had my kids. And do I think that I could do it? Yes. If I had to, I think I could. I think that my experience would be wildly different.
Yes.
I think that the ability to like compartmentalize like I did before kids would be gone. And so for me, I think that it would be so traumatic. And as somebody who like is more of an anxious person, I think then like going home to my children or then like thinking about things with my kids would be like all consuming.
It is. I agree with you on that completely. But I do think that you reach a point because our kids are so different in ages. There's a point of me now that almost feels the opposite in the sense that I almost feel like I have to be a part of the PEDS codes. Like there's something in me now that feels like if I don't go, I don't know, it almost feels like I'm letting the kid down in a way. But I think it's because I've reached the point of my kids being ages where the normal things don't necessarily scare me anymore. SIDS, things like that.
Yeah.
That it's easier for me to go in at this point now and the trauma isn't so real. But I remember once I first had kids, like going in there was horrific.
Yeah.
and it changed everything. And then you go home and you have all of these like rules. Like, I don't know if you do for Ryan, but like for Nick, I have all these rules, and he just looks at me and nods his head yes. And is like, clearly you've seen something at work that I don't know anything about. Yeah. I'm not going to ask about it, but like, okay. But I mean, some of my rules are off the wall.
What are some of your rules for Nick or your kids? Because I also have rules like for Ryan.
Well, like, okay, we do have a trampoline. I know. I'm the ER nurse that has a trampoline. But your kids are only kids one time. But there will never be a flip happening on that trampoline. Remy, I have caught in action doing a front flip on there one time, and I about came unglued. And
Really?
he like had no idea why. But I just straight up looked at him and was like, you will break your neck and die.
Yeah.
Because everything leads to death in our house.
Absolutely.
But there's like all kinds of things. Like I remember my kids were old enough to sit up in the bathtub, be fine, like be totally fine in the bathtub. They could have been like 4, you know, and we don't see many drownings like that coming in. If you leave that kid in the bathtub, I will lose it, which isn't really rational.
But I think you see something like that one time and and it changes you. I mean, Ryan cannot take a, what's it called? Like a chainsaw thing.
Oh yeah.
Like on a ladder. Cause I've seen people cut their legs off.
Oh, well, you have rules for Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, I have rules for Nick. There's no chainsaws when I'm gone. There's no getting on the roof when I'm gone. And there's no changing a tire. You will not be underneath a car.
Really? See, I don't think Ryan would like stick to those rules, but
you better.
But
otherwise, up your life insurance policy.
That's smart. There are some with the kids that I'm like, and this could be like some of my postpartum more than just like my job, because I also have postpartum anxiety. Yeah. But like, I will not forget like when I first went back to work after Scotty, Ryan was like going to take the kids somewhere, and I was like, oh no, you can't. And he was like, I can take our kids. Like I have to run to Lowe's or something. And I was like, I am not comfortable with both of the kids being in a car yet when I'm not present.
Yeah.
And like, I have a weird fear of like, predators, like,
I don't think that's a weird fear like in our society.
The kids. Yeah, no, you're right. It's probably not that weird.
It's a logical fear.
But just the logics of like, well, who are you going to get out of the car first?
Yeah.
And then who do you put away? Turn your back to unbuckle the next kid because they're both so young.
Yep.
Like, how are you going to make sure that kid's like just, and he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, can this wait until I'm home? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I understand that this is causing you like a great amount of stress. So like, I'm just not going to do it, which I respect. But it's things like that where
I think it's in those moments when you don't realize that your job has affected you as much as it has.
And I wish sometimes I was a little more naive because I wouldn't feel this stuff. So like, it makes me feel crazy sometimes.
Oh no,
but
feel
I think
insane.
that it's like the repercussions of my job, but it's like a delayed response because a lot of this stuff I've seen, I was much younger. I never had kids, and now I have kids, and it's like
all resurfacing.
And I don't know if anyone else experiences that, but I feel like I'm in the throes of that right now.
Oh, it's literally the worst. And it's not talked about enough, which is probably why when all of these men date nurses, they're like, you guys are absolutely certifiable. In some areas, we 100% are.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's because we see all these things. I never had Nick turn on his location because I didn't care where he was. I trust him 100%. Did never care where he was until a husband came in as a trauma and his wife had no idea where he was and he had died and he was on a work trip. And I was like, this is not going to happen. It was literally within that moment that I was like, your location needs to be on. He travels for work all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if you are on the side of the road dead and I have no idea? But at least now I can see if you're in a specific spot for too long.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I could be at a rest stop that you don't see. So please don't call 911 if I'm there for like 10 minutes or longer. And I was like, I promise.
He's like, I just need to fit.
I promise I won't. But if it's 15 minutes, maybe I will.
Yeah. I mean,
but it does change you.
It does for sure.
Do you ever regret going into nursing now that you've done it for this long?
Short answer, no. I think it's an amazing career. It's led me to so many different opportunities. Yeah. I've moved around. I've worked in a ton of different areas. And I truly do love being a nurse and what I do.
We could have a long answer, but we're going to say
yeah, we'll keep it at that. I think that something I never expected for my life about becoming a nurse was like creating a social media platform and getting to connect with a ton of other nurses out there, other non-nurses out there, sharing my experiences, my stories, like, yeah, the wild and crazy, funny things that we see or experience. I think that it's opened up this like another like niche area of nursing that I never expected.
But it's also a place too where I feel like we can go to decompress like all of these stories that we have. But it also created this community that I never thought we would have.
100%.
And it is so fun.
It's so fun. And I think that us creating this podcast was like this dream that we had been like, you know, we do these little segments on TikTok, but we want to like talk through a lot of that. And we want to have like funny stories and we want a place to share that, but also a place to talk about like the not funny stuff and the real stuff. And we love the community that's joined along. And I'm just so excited to continue to share all of these stories. So
for episode 2, which, by the way, we will be with you guys every single Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, you'll get us.
There will be a drop every Wednesday. But for next week, we are bringing back the med errors. These are your guys' favorites. They are ours too.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. These are our favorites.
But you guys have also asked that we go into them more in depth and like share the acronyms for the non-medical. So we are doing just that.
So thank you for joining along our first episode and this whole journey.
Yep.
And tune in next week for episode 2. Bring your popcorn because we will bring back the med errors.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.